Money 1055 and the Money 1055 app with Brandon Hintz and Mike Driggers in the now.
Welcome back. Money 1055 in the now with Brandon Hintz and Mike Driggers. And we have a special guest today.
Yes, we do. We have an amazing guest. Melanie Kiemer Harper is a highly sought-after international speaker, best-selling author, entertainer, consultant. She's been in movies. As a matter of fact, she was in a movie with Elvis Presley. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she's got a twin, and they're like the Wonder Twin, the double mint twin sisters. But yeah, she's been a radio host with over 40 years of experience teaching, successful communication, speaking strategies. And, she has a program, Stand Out with Unstoppable Confidence. And so let's bring her to our show today and welcome her. Melanie, are you out there?
I am.
Well,
so
welcome.
Nice to be here with you.
Yes, it's amazing. I'm excited to have you on the show. We were in LA together. We had a chance to chat and get to know each other, and so I was excited to be able to have you on the show today.
Well, I'm excited as well, and yes, I love it when I get to know people like that.
Yeah, it's great. Now, hey, listen, so people need to know your background, right? They need to know, and it expands over multiple decades in the show business and speaking industry. How did this all come about?
Well, it's very interesting. My mother really loved music, and she saw this little program that was being sponsored over our local market, and she entered my twin sister and me in it. And we sang, "I love you, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck." I don't know if you ever had that, if your mom ever sang that to you. But
no, mine didn't.
No, she didn't. Okay. Well, she used to sing that to us when we went to bed, and we learned it. And she said, "Okay, I'll put them in the contest." So we were in the contest. We look like, if people can remember, way back, Shirley Temple. If not, look her up. Little curly hair, and we look like two little Shirley Temples up there. And we sang, and we won. And we won this huge bag of groceries. And they thought that was so adorable. We enjoyed it. We had fun. So she kept putting us in other contests, and we kept winning. And that's how it all began when we were 3 years old. And since then, we've been in film, stage, and TV, and been with some of the biggest celebrities. That been very fortunate and blessed. That's in Hollywood and in the speaking industry. And so I'm just very happy about the direction that we've gone in, because it's also made it so that I can help other people in the same direction, because it wasn't always great for me.
Well,
it was at the beginning.
So you've been
have to know.
Yeah, so you've been with some pretty great legends in Hollywood. Can you tell the listeners who were the most influential and why?
Well, you mentioned one of them in the movie with Elvis Presley. We were in the movie Double Trouble with Elvis Presley, and I remember emphatically asking him a question because of something that happened to me on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And it was something I never, ever want to experience again. I was on The Tonight Show being interviewed, and all of a sudden in front of I just knew there were hundreds in the audience, and thousands or millions on the TV watching in. And for some reason, for the first time, I just looked at a little red light, and I went totally blank. Now, I don't know if you two have ever experienced that.
Actually, I have on PBS. I did that. Matter of fact, I was my very first showing. I froze a little bit, but the worst thing was they gave me these cards to read, and they were auctioning off things, to support PBS. And
oh my!
And you know what happened? I've never seen the word crochet, and I've never knew. And I was like young. I was like 19, 20, right? And and so I'm reading these cue cards, and you could get this Crockett. I kept calling it Crockett because I didn't know what it was. So anyways.
Well, at least you were talking. I went mute. I totally went mute. I went blank, and it's the worst feeling I've ever had in front of millions, and I can't say a word. All I could do was nod my head and smile, and I thought, oh my gosh. And I thought I can still feel the nuts that crawled into my stomach.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was just awful. And I thought, I never want to experience that again. And so when I was on the movie with Elvis Presley, I asked him, do you ever get nervous when you get on stage? And I just remember, now I don't do a good Elvis impersonator. I need to work on it. But anyway, he said to me, he goes, honey, whenever I get on them stage, I get them butterflies. And them butterflies is what keeps me at the top of my game. And I thought, wow. And I said, you get nervous? And he goes, I do. And he says, but you need to. And he said to me that everybody needs to have a little bit of nervousness. If they don't, they're not going to do their best job. But it's how you control those nerves that make a difference. So in my programs that I do with my coaching and then the programs that I do for seminars or workshops, I really emphasize to everybody what the stories were that I tell from all the lessons I've learned from the people that I worked with. And Elvis is a big one. Johnny Carson was another one. Mickey Rooney. I can't tell you the different things I've learned from each one that doesn't have to be just in the entertainment world, but is everyday life lessons and how to be professional and how to control butterflies so you have that unstoppable confidence. And that could be whether you're one-on-one speaking or in a big group or on a stage. And I have people all the time that would just say, can you help me? Can you help me? I have the material. I know what I want to say. I just don't know how to say it or put it together, or I feel nervous. And I thought that's my goal, is to help people not to go through that same feeling I went through, because that was miserable.
Yeah, I love that, butterflies, that, and this is great for people that maybe are, with today's technology, they're afraid to get in front of the camera, right? They get nervous.
Yeah.
I know I was. Right. I was afraid to get in front of the camera. I was afraid when we were starting this radio show. I had butterflies. But I love what you said. It forces you to do your best. Right.
Yes,
and
it
I
does.
think a lot of folks out there and our listeners need to understand that it's okay to have this, because guess what? It's going to force you to do your best. And when you're in front of the camera, or you're on stage or in an interview or talking to the customer, a big customer, you almost want to thrive for that, I would imagine.
Well, you do. And when I worked with Betty White years and years and years ago, she had fear too, but she says she uses that, so she doesn't let it overcome her, because she's learned how to control it too. But she loves having that, because that actually gives you the excitement, gives you a little adrenaline. And if you don't have that little bit of nerves, you're going to probably be flatlined. It brings a little energy.
Yeah, and I
do
would
something before.
And I would imagine, like, I know we prepare for our workshops and you do for your workshops. So knowing your content is one, probably the first importance is knowing your content. And then that way, when you are in the meeting or on stage or wherever, you're passionate, because those nerves come out and your excitement and energy. I would imagine.
That's so true. And I love the word you just used too, because it's so true. If you don't have the passion, or really, and you hear it all the time, know your why. But what it is understanding yourself and understanding the feeling and emotion that's going through you when you're actually producing the message you want to get across. Is it coming across with the way you want it to come across? Are you coming away with the love and passion? Because if you don't, it's going to show. And if you come away with the feeling that I'm helping other people and being of service, people resonate with that, and it just makes a difference. And the word you said, prepare, too, because that's a big thing. I have a whole 9 Ps on how to prepare, because preparing is a huge, huge difference on whether you're going to get your message out there or not. That gets a little bit of a confidence going there, because at least you know your material. Part of or I should say, part of being really nervous is if you're not well prepared.
Yeah,
Mindset.
It's all mindset, and that's the thing. If you're not prepared and you're trying to do it from hip, which I've done in the past, and I have. I know a lot of my stuff, but sometimes you do a presentation because it's like on the fly. You've been asked to. You start getting this wondering discussion that goes on, and really being prepared helps you. But that, I think, for folks, our listeners, I think the 9 tips that you were talking about would be a good thing to share with the audience on how to prepare, especially with social media today and the ability to be your own studio. What are some of those tips? Let's hear them.
Well, I'll just give you a few briefly, and then they can go to my site, and they come in my site and email me. I will go ahead and send the whole thing. How's
Awesome.
that?
Nice.
For your listeners, I would do
Yeah,
that.
we'll post on our on the live stream and all the places your URL as well.
The one that I like is how to create a crystal clear message that captivates and magnetizes your audience.
That is so important. A big part of that is through the stories. And the stories are going to make a difference. And in sales, you've been in sales, so you know that usually it's a facts tell, stories sell.
Yep.
And it's so true. The stories are so important, and that's what I really go through. And that's part of the piece, too, in preparing. It's preparing your stories. It's preparing for ahead of time for where you're going, who your audience is, so you can relate to them. And it just makes a huge difference if you tell stories that they relate to, that shows your vulnerability, shows emotion, because people love and they buy you and are interested in you based on emotion. So part of those P's that I would use are preparing and just practicing too. That's a big part of it, is practicing it, preparing. And part of the preparing means that you are also being persistent in what you do. You're being professional. You're just producing the best message because you're the expert to show that you are the go-to person. And a big part of it is being authentic. So performing with authenticity and credibility. And a big part of that, and you have this too, are writing books. And I have books as well, and those books give you more credibility. And people say, I don't have a book. Well, you do have a book. Everybody has a book in them.
Everybody does.
They really do. They do.
And there's no excuse.
Telling their story.
Yeah, and there's no excuse. With today's technology, anybody can create a book, even if it's an e-book. Now, I'd recommend a soft cover to hardcover, but everybody should have a book, and everybody has a book. I don't care if you work for somebody, you're a sales rep or manager, you should have a book. If you're dealing with customers, you should have a book. So I preach that, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh no, it's so true. Well, I've been one of the books with you, Mike. Okay, and that was "Reach Your Greatness" with James Malinchak.
Yep.
We're both in that same book too, and it's just important to get our message out there. But that gives the credibility, and people want to know more about you. And it's just like the one thing that I have on my website. When people go there, they can opt in for my free complimentary book that I do on the 7 powerful ways to use speaking to build your business. And those are really powerful to get people out there. They don't realize the industries are way they can get out there to get the gigs, you might say, to get the people and contacts and clients to make a difference and to help them.
Yeah, what is that website? Go ahead and give it to them.
www.igniteyourspeakingpower.com. That's igniteyourspeakingpower.com.
So I know that we'll make sure we get that up, but and today's topic is so powerful because it's really creating that unstoppable confidence. And I think with all the P's that you shared, the prepare, the practice, be persistent, professional.
Positive. It's a positive attitude. There's more P's there too. There's actually more than P's and 9 I've added to them. But those are the main ones.
I love it. What are some things that folks using these? How do you see in today's world them using the skill set to get out there and expose? Like, what are you seeing in the market?
It's a huge game changer when you know the art of public speaking and communication. And people say, I don't do public speaking. Well, you're talking one-on-one. You are doing public speaking. It doesn't matter who you're talking to or where. That's public speaking. And there are different ways to talk, like being on stage. Being on stage, you're going to be you're speaking with big voices and big gestures so everybody can see. But if you're in one-on-one, it's a smaller, more controlled way of talking and way of speaking, and the emotions and everything that you have that go with it. But in today's economy, without that communication, you're not going to be successful. And I have many clients that I work with, whether it's been through the college of teaching and counseling there, or being in the corporate world and in the entertainment and working with business professionals. I have really helped them make a difference with making that impact and that message that comes across to help them gain more clients, get more business, or continue to stay with the business they have in a better and stronger way. And that's because the art of communication is what is the number one thing to make a difference in your business. If you don't have that and you have a lack of confidence, people read it and they see it. And who are you going to buy from, or who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to more a person that seems like they're confident and know what they're talking about?
Yep.
And have a way of communicating that shows that they care about you, that they're interested in you? They want to know.
Well, we're going to go to break real quick. Hold that thought, because I want you to continue with that when we come back on Money 105.5 Talk Radio with In the Now with Mike Driggers, Brandon Hintz, and we'll be back with Melanie to finish out those thoughts.
The number one show for entrepreneurs. This is In the Now, part of the Money 2.0 series on Money 105.5 and the Money 105.5 app.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we have Melody Keemer Harper in the stage. She's our guest of the day, talking about speaking power. And I know you have an event coming up, a 3-day event live, this in Orange County, April. You want to tell us a little bit about that event?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you. It is on April 20th through the 22nd in Newport Beach. It'll be at the Newport Beach Marriott Bayview Hotel. And it's called Ignite Your Speaking Power for that unstoppable confidence to make a huge impact with your message and to build your business through mastering the art of public speaking and communication. And it's going to be a powerful, hands-on, experiential, make a huge difference in your life kind of an event. And it's 3 days. And I will have, I call it kind of like a one-stop center as well, because not only am I going to help people with getting out there and do better with their speaking, and everybody wants to improve, right?
Right.
Everybody can improve.
Yep.
With their speaking. And at whatever level they're at, whether they're newbies or whether they're seasoned, they're going to come away with feeling like they have gotten so much from this 3-day event. And I actually have a couple of celebrities that are going to be there, too, that also are entrepreneurs. And they'll be speaking their message, as well as the one-stop center I'm talking about is I do the speaking component, helping them get out there to master the control of their speaking, to put their speech together so they understand how to actually begin it, how to end it, and what to do in between, and how to answer the question that people, when they ask you anywhere you're at, what do you do? And it's like, what do I say? And so how to actually put that together in your signature talk and to figure out who you really, really are talking to and who is going to be the biggest group of people that you can actually help. And that's what it's all about, is trying to get out there and help people. So it'll be 3 days in Newport Beach, and go to my site of speaklikeacelebrity.com. That's speaklikeacelebrity.com to see about the special that I have there. And because I'm on your show, I'm going to give them a special offer to use the coupon code so they can get a special rate for it. Would you like to hear that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure our listeners would love to have it.
Well, it's normally $1,997 for the 3 days, but on the website, because I'm putting a new year and really want to make a bigger impact with people, I put it down to $497. It's only $497. But if you go on and use the coupon code because of you and put down the word IGNITE, IGNITE, you'll get it for $297.
Wow, that's a good.
Thank you.
Thank you, and listeners will appreciate that. And for our listeners that know us, we're big into personal development. I'm not only do we have our own workshops, but I'm constantly, and I know Brandon's constantly going to other programs to learn. Right? We're
one of our key points in design that we really hit home on is the audio logo, which is basically setting them up to realize that you are a walking business. And if you can actually ignite people and magnetize them with when you tell them what you do for a living, this is why this is so important. This is why we have her on the show today, is that being this speak like a celebrity, ignite your speaking power is a huge piece of your business. Whether you're dealing with just customers one-on-one or if you're doing one-on-one talks and meetings and referral networks, whatever it is, these key components will change your business.
Yeah, I mean, you got conference calls, right? Yeah. Webinars today. You've got live streams. You got videos. To
Facebook
produce.
Live.
Facebook. I mean, there's so many things that I think that she can help improve. So definitely take advantage of this, folks. I mean, this is a $2,000 course, and you're going to get it for $297. And it's in April 22nd, and definitely want to take advantage of it. Go to speaklikeacelebrity.com. Now,
use the promo code IGNITE for the discount.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll get it up on the site for everybody. Now, as we went to commercial, you were sharing about the passion and the P's and the things of that nature. What do you think's the biggest tip that you can give our audience today that could help them get started right away, and getting out there to speak?
That's a very, very good question, because some people ask, well, what do I do if I don't even know how to speak or whatever? The thing is to just decide what you want to do, know what your expertise is, what you know that you have to offer that can make a difference for people, and just jump out and start doing it and learn. And all of us, and you mentioned this too, about both of you were talking about mentors and how it makes a difference. Everyone has mentors. You guys, I know, have mentors. I have mentors.
Yep.
We always are learning, and so it's important to get out there and understand that you need to get the training. Excuse me. You need to get somebody that is going to be there to help you be accountable, to give you the directions. The main thing is make the move and decide to do something. If you don't, you're going to be waiting. So it's like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
You want to help people now. Excuse me, I'm clogged today.
That's all right. I come back with ammonia, so we're good.
Oh my gosh, no good. Oh, I know it's going around.
Yeah.
But and the communication makes a huge difference, and we were talking about that before. The communication, without the communication, you're not going to be nearly as successful if you don't have control of that language and speaking. And getting your message out, if you're an entrepreneur, that is one of the most powerful ways for people to know who you are. And they can hear about you, but it's different if they actually hear it from you.
Yeah, it's critical. It is so critical moving forward in the future for business to get this down, and especially because of the social platforms.
Yeah, the digital world that we're in, everybody wants to see the authentic you.
Yep.
And it's okay if you're
Absolutely.
teaching something, like there's people who teach what we teach and design it, but they don't do it like we do, and they don't put their heart is not our heart. And one of our guests before, he's a big sales influencer, and he gets up on stage, but then he raps. He has a rap song that he puts out there during the stage, and everyone loves it because it's him. They get to see him come out.
Exactly. That's it. The whole thing is be authentic and be you. Because people they'll ask me all the time, and that's something that we pull out too, is finding your uniqueness. Because, like you said, we all have maybe similar messages. People have different things, but in their arena, they have other people that have the same message they do too as well. It's a matter of we're buying the person. We're buying the person because we like that person. We're investing in that person because that person resonates with us more than maybe the other person that does the exact same thing. Or, in my case, and your case, I'm sure too, we learn something different from each person that may be in the same genre, but they come with it at a different angle.
Yeah.
And it could be something that we take and we use. Everybody borrows from other people and then puts their own twist on it.
Absolutely. And I think the other part to this, to add to it, is that, that old saying is that when the student's ready, the teacher appears. You may have heard it 3 or 4 different times in different ways, but you go to this one event and you hear it again, but you finally listened. Like it hit you like, oh, I need to do this.
This is something that has to be taken care of now.
Yeah, you start to
absolutely
find things. And so your subconscious mind's being programmed with it. You just weren't ready to hear it or listen to it because it wasn't your time. But that's why I love going to events of all types. And just because I learned something, even though I may know a lot of the stuff, one nugget can change my whole business.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
And the networking aspects, that too. I mean, we don't talk a lot about that. I mean, not only that you can learn from other by networking, and you create relationships and partnerships with folks and meet great people. Like I met you at the James Malinchak event in L.A., right? So
Yes.
So you just never know. And
You don't.
And that's why you're on the show today.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate that too. It's really, I just remember years and years ago reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yep. Favorite book.
And that was, it's so great. My sister read it 7 times.
Wow.
And it's like my older sister, my twin sister and I, probably 7 between us.
There you go.
But it's so great. And I just remember it was so important to be interested in other people rather than being interesting. So it's all about them, not about you. And you were saying networking, and when people go to networking, so many just go up and they just say, here's my card. Do you know of anybody that can help me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about them. And that's not the way to go and approach people. Build a relationship. It's all about building that relationship and the trust and the caring. And that'll solidify a stronger relationship in the long run as well, and is much more beneficial for you. It also makes you feel good. It makes you stand out as somebody that they want to talk more to.
Yeah, the whole paradigm has shifted. I mean, even Dale Carnegie, back when he was really going for it, he understood this back then when the whole entire shift of society was all about sell myself, sell. And he knew, no, be interested, be curious about your customer, be curious about the public, because once again, we're in business, human to human, and they want to know that they're being heard. The critter brain wants to know that this person's interested and there's no fear here. This isn't a sales tactic. She actually truly wants to hear what I'm saying.
Yes, it is so true. it's just like with both you, Brandon and Mike, it makes a difference if you are talking to people and being positive with them and finding something about them that you can relate to, something that's in common. By talking, there's certain questions you would ask to find the commonality. And when you have a commonality, all of a sudden light bulbs go off.
Oh, yeah.
And they perk up. It's really something. And a biggest part I remember when I was very, very little is that if you don't remember anything else, remember first names, because a person loves to hear their name. So when you're talking to them, you say their names. And it's like, wow, they know that you're talking to them personally.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And this is, like I said, this is why you're on the show today. So Melody Keemer Harper, Speak Like a Celebrity, IgniteYourSpeakingPower.com. Both of these places you can find out. She's having a 3-day live event coming up in April 20th through the 22nd in Newport Beach. She's giving away a promo code today. So if you go to SpeakLikeACelebrity.com and check out the course, and if you decide this is the course for you, because right now you're sitting there and you know what she's saying is hitting you right in the forehead. You're like, this is what I need to do to grow my business. Then use the promo code IGNITE and get a discount all the way down to $297 for this event.
Yeah, take advantage of it. Now, Melanie, I always ask this question: is what's the one question that we should have asked today that we didn't?
Oh, gosh, probably what's something different about you, makes you stand out from anybody else, that makes us want to come to you rather than going to somebody else?
Yeah.
And that would probably, for me, is because of my background with having my twin sister, an identical twin sister that I found out actually 7 years ago were actually identical by taking a DNA test at
Wow.
Choctaw.
Wow.
Yeah, people just thought, the doctor's nuts, you two look so much alike. And we just thought, well, we just did. And, how it all began, but that our uniqueness stands out because of not only being twins, but now I'm on my own. So I have stories, even though she comes with me, she's with me at different times, but our lives had to change in different directions because of family needs at the time. And so when I can, I get her with me because she's still my best friend. We do everything together. But it's telling those stories that are unique to you. And the stories that people resonate when you tell your story, it also has to have a point to it. So it's not just getting out there randomly telling stories. It's towing them and tying them into your message to bring an impact and drive it home. And they love to hear all about the entertainment world, all the people I've worked with and got information from, and people like being on stages with your Brian Tracy's and Les Browns and Jack Canfield's, and then Elvis Presley, Elizabeth Taylor, Betty White, all the different people I've been with. They love hearing those stories. That's what makes it unique.
That's what's amazing about you. That's why we had you today. This is amazing.
Yeah, thanks for coming on to the show. We really appreciate you and your message that you shared with our audience, and we look forward to having you on the show here again soon.
Thank you.
And thanks again. So we're going to go to commercial, be back, and let's talk more about this and what we learned today, Brandon, on Money Talk 105.5 on In the Now with Mike Driggers, Brandon Hintz.